I'm Leo Warder for Kit Guru, and this gaming PC here is a PC Specialist Hyperion Master. While I yak it, I'm just going to get GTA 5 running. As you can see, it's an 8GB graphics card. We're using 3GB of the graphics memory in GTA 5 at full HD, with basically most of the settings cranked to max apart from anti-aliasing, because that is a PC killer. As we've seen many times, you can kill a GTX 1080 with GTA 5 if you wish. Let's just start that running. That'll now get going. And while that goes, I'll just talk at you a bit. So, PC Specialist, it's a bare tower. It costs £799, including VAT with UK delivery, and is not, you would think, the sort of PC we would typically review on Kit Guru, because we like high-end gaming stuff, and £799 is not really high-end, you wouldn't think. True enough, more or less. The fundamental point here is that the graphics card in this system is an AMD RX480, so Polaris. Now, this system has been prepared at breakneck speed to get it to us very shortly after the launch of Polaris, so very big up and thank you to PC Specialist. $799, typically you'd expect a PC, this has got a Core i5-6400, you would expect a PC in this price point to have a GTX 962GB, possibly a 4GB. Now the thing with RX480, as Radeon covered in great detail in his review of this graphics card, is that the performance of the stock RX480, and this is a reference RX480 as you can see from photos on Kit Guru as per usual, but also it's crystal clear in the video here. This is a stock RX480 with AMD cooler. Radeon was scathing about the stock cooler, says it's an absolute piece of junk. It's just a thing they put on the thing to cool it and no sophistication whatsoever. So we've got a Core i5-6400, we've got the RX480, and the performance is akin to a GTX 970 at stock clocks. If you overclock your RX480, you can actually start to approach GTX 980, which is fairly remarkable. Now the thing is that you are not going to overclock this with the stock cooler unless you're prepared to tolerate heat and noise and do a lot of work. So for the time being, what I think we have to say is that this is the system PC Specialist has shipped us for the moment with a reference graphics card, and I'm quite sure as soon as partner graphics cards come along that PC Specialist is going to update the system. This you are looking at here is the worst case scenario for a Polaris PC. Having got that out of the way, so we're chugging very nicely through GTA 5. The figures in my earlier testing, average at full HD, settings cranked high, 64 frames per second, which is not bad going. GTX 980 for comparison on a Core i7, you can be looking at average north of 100 frames per second. So what have I got here? Core i7 with GTX 980, that system did 88, around the 100 frames per second. So 64 frames per second, I think we can agree, is definitely playable quality, no two ways about that. Other bits of hardware in this system, apart from the RX480, we've got 8GB of HyperX Fury DDR4, we've got a 120GB HyperX SSD, and a 1TB Toshiba hard drive backing that up to give you enough storage for all your games. Best will in the world, that is an average PC. I mean, quite clearly the price is low, therefore the feature here is the RX480. No two ways about it. Not going to try and dress it up. This is not a £1,500 super duper high-end wonder PC. This is a basic gaming system, but look at the frame rates. This thing is hauling along at an indecent pace. This is the sort of performance you expect from a PC that costs you $999 for argument's sake. And this is significant because if you're in the market for a $799 PC and you can get one more graphics card's worth of performance for the same money, that's a big chunk of change. If you're in the market for a £2,000 PC, this just doesn't matter to you. We know this. We're not completely stupid at Kit Guru. Anyway, other benchmarks rattled through. PC Mark 8 is exactly as you'd expect, because that's just a test that the system's running properly. It's got a decent processor. Core i5 does the job. Graphics absolutely fine, thank you very much. 3D Mark, all the figures and graphs on Kit Guru as per usual. Now that's just finished, that's good. So the time is now come to give you a closer look inside the system. Goodness me, there's a load more space on the tabletop, and I take my 28-inch 4K display away. So, rattling through those components one more time, we have an Intel Core i5-6400, which has a base clock of 2.7 GHz, turbos to 3.3 quad core, obviously. We've got a PC Specialist FrostFlow 120 liquid cooler on the processor. Must confess, I'm not sure who OEMs that cooler, but it does a perfectly reasonable job, so whatever. AMD RX480, as mentioned, Polaris graphics, 8GB for DDR4 memory, 128 gigabyte SSD, which has enough storage for Windows plus Steam plus a game, maybe two, and then obviously a 1 terabyte hard drive does your bulk storage, and then an in-win GT1 case reaches around, plus windowed side panel, which is all perfectly acceptable. The power supply is a 550 watt Corsair. What can we say about the build quality? Build quality is absolutely professional and solid, no problems whatsoever. Quality of components is all there. Everything you kind of think, would be nice to have 16 gig of memory, 240 gig SSD, 2 terabyte hard, all the things you'd like, a bit more of everything, and of course that bumped the price up, and that is completely the point here. $799 for a gaming PC is cheap. So to get a PC that's anything other than the absolute basics is significant. It is, you're getting a $999 PC for $799. This is really, really good going. It is also worth pointing out, PC Specialists rushed the system at an absurd clip. They received the graphics card, plugged it in, sent the system, beta drivers, the whole thing. It's a reference card with the horrible cooler, and yet it's run like a dream, solid. So we can be confident that with updated drivers, we're going to gain in performance for sure, no two ways about it. As to whether we're going to gain any new features, that remains to be seen. But performance, absolutely no two ways about it. So this is as bad as it gets. It only gets better from here. Secondly, I cannot believe that PC Specialist is going to hang on with this reference RX480 for any length of time. I expect to see a cooler, quieter, better graphics card in there doing a very similar job at first, but with the option of overclocking if you're prepared to work at it. Zardon got some significant extra performance by working horribly hard on the Polaris, but there is performance in there. When the likes of Sapphire gets a proper Nitro cooler on a Polaris, we can expect to see lots more performance, really properly good, heading towards GTX 980. I mean, I cannot wait to see this myself in a cool, quiet, cheap graphics card. This is really good stuff. Power draw. So 550 watt power supply on the desktop, 80 watts. When the system's hammering away in 3D Mark, 240 watts. So less than 50% of the rated value of the power supply. So we're talking well efficient. Temperatures. CPU idle 24, was thrashed at 36. Now it has to be said, a Core i5 doesn't really work especially hard. It does enough, but then for gaming you don't need a massive CPU. Video rendering and so on, obviously that's a different story, but the CPU was kept very cool by that CPU cooler. GPU idle at 35, went up to 80 under load. Gonna say it again, the cooler is rubbish on that graphics card. It is going to improve. Any aftermarket cooler will be better. AMD has just chucked a cooler on the thing. But the thing works. We've seen much, much hotter graphics cards than 80 in the past. I mean, 80 these days seems quite toasty. In the past, actually, that's quite cool. There we go. So, overall, this is a cheap PC. It delivers decent gaming performance. It hauled through GTA 5 at an indecent clip at 1080p, and it is $799 inkVAT delivered. I'm very impressed that PC Specialist has got a system out the door so rapidly with this brand new graphics card. I cannot wait to see the improvements, but right now, Hyperion Master, it's a good one and it's cheap. I'm Leo Waldorf for Kit Guru.